Two personalities of about 16 years old approached the Konoha gate. The first was a blonde with long hair that reached her thigh. She was dressed in an orange and black sportswear that hid her 3.5 chest size and sandy waist. She was also wearing shorts that hugged her elastic ass, and she was shod in women's shinobi sandals just below the knees and with a small kabuk. Behind her was a red-haired guy with a hedgehog hairstyle, also in a tracksuit, the difference being that his color was red and black, and he also had a hood, and he was shod in standard shinobi sandals. Also, unlike the girl, there were 3 symmetrical stripes on his cheeks. "Brother, let's hurry up! I missed my mother very much. And I know you can. It's not the first time I've told you, you can go ahead to your mother's home. I don't care to report to the heel. Oh no. At least to the residency we go together. So let's hurry." "Alas, I can't. I have 2 reasons for this. The first is that I'm lazy. And the second one is that I have a mini version of the strongest Biju sleeping in my penny." "Oh. He sleeps all day long. And all because you don't let me sleep at night, even in print. Especially the devil in you. In Naruto, even more so, and in you, and this time is a real earthquake. Humph. Also an excuse for me." "Okay, that's enough for you, and you, Kurama, wake up once, go back to the press for another 6 minutes and we'll enter the city." "Okay. As you say, but then you will have a piece of meat." "Good." After the words of the scarlet-haired fox, it turned into an orange light and was absorbed into the guy's stomach. "Now let's speed it up. Let's go to the residence. Only you are too much without chakra strengthening." "Ha, okay, on the count of 3. Oki. 1, 2, 3. For ordinary residents, it was wind, but Shinobi could see a red and orange spot running at high speed towards the Hokage's residence. However, none of them were worried about this, because it was not the first time they had seen these colors together. At the residence. Who won? Asterisk. Well, by a margin of a second. The blonde won. At last! At least I reduced the gap of points a little, asterisk black small square. However, the score is 23-30 in my sister's favor. And don't sulk and make a hamster out of yourself. Black small square. Okay, let's go already, or we'll get it later. A few minutes later, in front of the 5th Hokage, also known as Tsunade Senju, stood none other than Akemi Namikaze and Naruto Uzumaki, the children of the late 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze, or Konoha's Yellow Lightning. Also, they are both Jinchuriks of the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox, well, or Kyuubi, whichever is convenient. Akemi, Naruto, I'm glad you're back, but... Was it necessary to kick down the door? With irritation in her, you want the full story, without censorship? Then rush to my Patreon. For just $4 a month, you unlock over 380 episodes of epic fan stories. From fandoms you've never even heard of. From classics like Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, to One Punch Man, DxD, and tons of taboo crossovers found nowhere else. Link in the description, or pinned comment. Subscribe now, and drown in unfiltered adult heat. One sub, the entire NSFW multiverse, in your pocket. Voice, the older blonde said. What do I have to do with it? All questions to her. Ha! Okay, tell me, and where is Jiraiya? Did he stay in the land of hot springs, something else? How strong have you become? Before Aki could finish, her brother covered her mouth with his palm. Regarding this. In general, we would like to temporarily leave the job of shinobi and live like an ordinary family. And we can check our level in a week, it will not work earlier. Mom won't let go. Okay, go already. But tomorrow I'm waiting for compensation for the door. Hey. And now, after another 8 minutes, they are standing in front of the door to the house. The blonde, deciding not to waste any more time, kicks the door and screams. We're back to Dantabeo. After screaming, 10 seconds later, a red-haired girl in a green and white sundress appeared next to her. I don't know exactly what Kushina's canon clothes are called, and hit her daughter on the head. Don't shout at the whole house of Dantabane. However, after the blow, a strong hug of two girls followed. And the guy. He enjoyed the picture of how 4 hills of 3, 5 and 4 sizes were tightly pressed against each other. A trickle of blood flowed from the nose from such joy for a man's eye. The women, seeing where his gaze was directed, with a friendly pervert, slammed into his face. Fortunately for the guy, the fox has already begun to heal his bruises. After 6 minutes, the kitchen. Well, tell me, how did you get there? What have you learned? And most importantly, you didn't pick up anything perverted from Jiraiya? And no! What are you talking about, Dantabeo? Well, we'll see, and now. So they talked for half an hour, and then the guy, leaving the girls alone, went to his room to rest. Mom? Huh? Does Dad happen to have any relatives from the Nara clan? He is just too similar to them, brilliant, but very lazy. Ha 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 oh. I'm sorry, but I don't know that. An hour later, Naruto's room. The blonde entered the room without knocking and found her brother lying on the bed and reading a book. Someone said they were going to bed. About 10 minutes ago, it was so. You have something serious. If not, then why did you come here already an adult? You can cope on your own. Why are you so rude? Was he offended or what? Not much. And anticipating your question, do you think I didn't understand that those hugs were your plan? I had too good an angle. Ay, what a bad girl I am. Akemi spoke and walked over to the bed and, stepping over one of her brother's legs, sat on his groin. I wonder how I can make amends. Putting a finger to her lips, she said in an innocent voice. The guy turned his gaze from the book to his sister, who was only in one towel, which barely covered her private parts. Are you serious? And if your mother catches you? How are you going to justify yourself? She's not at home. She's gone to visit Aunt Mikoto, and then to visit Bachan at work. So for the next 2 hours, I'm completely subordinate to you. Daisen. The blonde whispered the last sentence in a languid voice, bending down to her brother's ear while resting her hands on his chest. You won't stop, will you? And knowing her answer in advance, the guy put the book he was reading on the bedside table, which was near the bed. Yes, black small square. Kurama, set up a barrier. In return you can completely switch to my seal for a while. I agree. Without saying another word, the guy pulled the girl into a passionate deep kiss, simultaneously throwing off the towel from her and starting to knead her chest with one hand, and massaged the inside of her buttocks with the other. The girl only moaned into his mouth, and also rubbed her crotch against the tent in his pants. After a couple of minutes, the air in the lungs ran out and they had to break the kiss. But the guy immediately moved to the neck, and then, leaving a wet trail behind him, began to suck the carotid artery and collarbone. MXBB Bromtic Enenintia me please Hayaya. The guy, not paying attention to her words, now began to play with the nipple that had stood up for a long time, squeezing and rotating, then pulling, forcing her to arch. This continues for a few more minutes, but suddenly Naruto abruptly rises, causing his sister to fall backwards on the bed and find herself on top. Then, leaving a sucker on his shoulder, he paved a path to the free nipple with kisses and a moment later began to suck and sometimes bite it. Enter the moss already. And please, he deciding to somehow listen to her, he removed his hand from her buttocks and began to tug at her button, simultaneously inserting a finger into her flower, starting to move it. Want the uncensored 18+ part? $4 per month on Patreon, 380+ hot episodes. Akemi was already moaning at the top of her voice and could not find a place for herself, constantly twirling under his caresses. So, after some time, the first finger was joined by the second, and then the third. And near I'm this MMMMRK Conchu. As soon as she said this and almost reached the peak of pleasure, all caresses abruptly stopped, and she herself was thrown off the bed. The girl, dissatisfied with the fact that she was broken off before the very end, wanted to bring herself to it, but her hands grabbed her hands with one hand, fixed above her head, and her brother's huge wand appeared in front of her face. What? Did you really think I'd just give you pleasure? Alas, but I'm a little vindictive at such moments, so you won't come until I do it. And but... Suck it! Realizing that she had no other way, she began to carry out his order. First she kissed and licked the head, then kissed her down to the balls and began to suck sometimes, changing them. But this did not last long, and running her tongue along the entire length of the wand with her tongue, she finally took it into her mouth and gradually thrust it up and down, swallowed more and more, not forgetting to work with her tongue. She worked at this pace until they reached her throat, but the path was only halfway through. The blonde tried to go on with the previous pace, but no matter how hard she tried, she slowed down significantly. And the guy, dissatisfied with this, roughly grabbed her hair with his free hand, began to move his head himself, because of which the thrusts became deeper and stronger than when she just took him. Therefore, the first such thrust responded with a strong pain in her throat, but it also allowed her to concentrate more on relaxation. And a few minutes later, his entire unit was consumed, but this did not make Aki's work easier. His wand was very thick, which blocked the passage of oxygen. Deciding to act quickly, she now not only worked with her tongue, but also tried to make at least some sounds, which caused a vibration in her throat. Hiya! Well done, now swallow it all. Want the uncensored 18+ part? $4 per month on Patreon, 380+ hot episodes. After his words, the already suffocating girl felt how sharply the wand vibrated, and in the next instant ropes of sperm began to come out of it, which immediately flew into her stomach, and this continued for half a minute until he finally let go of her hair, and the head drained from his wand, simultaneously starting to breathe heavily. Well, that's fine, you got your punishment. And I'm sorry if I overdid it. Still, no matter how rude he seemed, he cared very much and worried about his younger sister and mother. P.S. Naruto was born a few minutes earlier, so he is the eldest, and so they are twins. Ha! No, everything is normal, and of course I want to continue. I myself said what is at your disposal, she said in a slightly hoarse voice. And now, since I have carried out your order, I beg you to come in. Okay, I deserve it, the scarlet-haired man said with a smile, and carrying her back to the bed, hovered over her and, settling between her legs, began to rub his wand against her button, still teasing her. And Nara, I beg you, fuck me already. And let me come. I can't stand it with already wet eyes, a helpless girl whimpered. Still, taking pity on her, the guy pulled her into a kiss, and at the same time immediately entering her full length, thanks to a completely dripping flower, receiving a full moan in the lips for this. After the air ran out and he broke the kiss, he again joined the carotid artery, and with one hand, kneading her chest, sometimes playing with the nipple, while with the other, holding her waist, helped himself to plant her, slowly accelerating the pace. In the first 5 minutes alone, Akemi had already experienced 3 orgasms due to such a long and painful wait. She completely merged with the sea of bliss and pleasure. This went on for another 15 minutes, until Naruto abundantly cummed in her uterus, which was opened in the first 3 minutes. But they weren't afraid that she would get pregnant, all because of the seal that had been put in place before their first time. So now the blonde is lying starry, still drowning in blissful bliss, and thick sperm is flowing out of her flower. Suddenly, she is turned over on her stomach and holding her buttocks, massaging them along the way, forcing her to lift her ass. You've already worked with 2 holes, but what about the third? The guy spoke, taking a mixture of his sperm and his sister's love juices on his fingers, and starting to grind her anus ring. But be brothers, you know that I like it more when you fucked me in the flower than anal. And unlike you, I didn't sleep for the bonus hour, HMHMH, which made me tired. Alas, it's too late. Don't worry, you won't pass out and have time to wash before your mother comes. Kurama will take care of it. And in OHIAHMHA, before she could finish, she felt 2/3 of his wand enter her ass at once. The guy, without sparing his sister, immediately took a fast pace. All she could do was scream and moan at the top of her voice. After a while, the guy took her by the base of her hair and pulled hard, hammering into her even harder, simultaneously forcing her to bend and get on all fours. And after a short time, she wanted to pass out from such intercourse, but she was prevented by the fox's chakra, which felt like a strong electric shock, returning her back to the world where she was badly fucked by her own brother, and she could only moan incessantly. Want the uncensored 18+ part? $4 per month on Patreon, 380+ hot episodes. Half a month has passed since the arrival of the twins. POV Kushina Uzumaki. Now I am sitting in the kitchen and drinking tea, they are in my thoughts. About intimacy. Cammy. How long has it been since I had normal intimacy for the last time, from which then you can somehow walk? In general, even with an ordinary session? The answer is very simple. From the moment I lost my husband. Damn Namikaze left me alone. And if the first 5 to 7 years I did not notice a lack of this because of the children, then after they turned 7 and they went to the academy, then there was a lot of free time. And when did they go away for 3 years at all? About Cammy. I'm still ashamed that I go to Mikoto for help to experience at least some pleasure, because I can't even satisfy myself, and even with Mikoto, I'm still a pure-blooded Uzumaki. And the incident that happened a couple of days ago made me dream about how my own son takes care of me. Yes, of course, the Uzumaki are an incest clan, but okay, brother, sister, I won't mind an even 4. After all, the clan needs to be restored. So, brother and sister are still normal, but what would be the son and mother? In the entire history of the clan, this was only at its inception. Therefore, it did not happen even in our country, but ever since I accidentally saw him naked, and his wand, even when he wasn't active, he was the size of an excited Minato. Deuce. I'm starting to get turned on again. KHNYYYK. And what to do? Mikoto is busy today, she is at political meetings with her husband all day. Deuce. It seems that you will have to satisfy yourself, but only my fingers are missing. Maybe not. Absolutely not. If they find me there, then it won't seem like a little, and you can't go there under the henge, protection from little perverts. Does it mean that I will have to put some of the household things into myself? But a what? Something that at least somehow resembles a wand. There is one of these. Only. Zucchini. Cammy. What a point I have come to. Minato, so that you experience eternal pain in the stomach of Shinigami-sama. Screams are screams, but now I have to go to the refrigerator and take a vegetable in order to put it in myself and not through my mouth, as usual. So here is the refrigerator, open it and… Well, why do I need this? It's small. 10 centimeters at most. Yes, even Minato's wand was smaller than average, it was bigger than that. But there is nothing to choose for cohabitation. Well, at least it may not be long, but it is wide enough. HAA, go to our room. There will be no children for about an hour, this should be enough. Going up to my room, I put a sound barrier, then threw off all my clothes, counting the underwear, along the way making sure that my panties were completely soaked. Once again. What have you come to? Once a proud bloody habanero, Jinchuriki Kyubi and the Hokage's wife, as well as a master of Fuinjutsu by the standards of Konoha. And now a widow who is going to try to satisfy herself with a vegetable. Stop. Phew. How I didn't think about it before. It's universal. If you put the right seals, you can make a vibrator from the same zucchini. So, it hurt. Take ink and add patch reinforcements so that it does not break in me, as well as a few more seals to change the position of the object and... Ready. So raise some chakra and... Yes. It vibrates. I am also very ashamed of such use of clan art, but... Damn, I'm already leaking. I can't wait any longer. First, attach it to an already erect nipple and... NPOV Kushina Uzumaki. Those sensations, are very different from Minato and Mikoto's hands when they touched my chest. Kushina lay down on her bed, and while one hand was holding the vegetable by the base, the other was already furiously tugging at her button. This went on for a couple of minutes, until she decided to do what she had come to this room to do *, MHNTRM. Kami is so good. And I haven't inserted it yet, but only put it to the clitoris even Mikoto's tongue was not so pleasant to me, *. And now the product is in front of the entrance to the swollen and completely soaked flower. Want the uncensored 18+ part? $4 per month on Patreon, 380+ hot episodes. Mom? She froze, afraid to move at all. She was seen. Shifting her gaze to the door, she saw her daughter. IK Kimmy, that's not what you're thinking. At her words, she only closed the door. Fuck. Why is she here? Wait, what time is it? A what? 1.5 hours have already passed? Asterisk flashed through her head as she looked at the wall clock. So, what to do, what the fuck to do? So Kushina, calm down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And now let's get dressed and go down. If you think about it, I'm still a little lucky. What if Naruto saw me? Then I don't know exactly how I would get out. And Akemi is also a woman, so you can talk to her somehow. Well, it wasn't. Let's go down. Asterisk. When the red-haired woman came downstairs, she found her daughter drinking coffee at the table. With a slow and indecisive step, the older girl sat down opposite her daughter. Although she decided to have this conversation, it was clearly visible how she was trembling, afraid that her daughter would misunderstand her. Mom, don't say anything. I understand perfectly well that you miss your father, but why bring yourself to such a state? I'm Akemi. I just can't betray your father. Mom, my brother and I know very well how much you loved him, but you don't have to suffer like that, and we see it as you suffer alone every day. You know, we will support and help if you only ask. Akemi. To be honest, my brother and I will accept any decision you make, even if we have a new family member after that. We, especially Naruto, are very worried about you. You know his character. It's time for you to let your father go. I don't know what to say. Without saying anything else, the blonde got up from her seat and hugged her mother. To which she just began to cry. Evening, Naruto's room. Now my sister and I were lying in an embrace on the bed, resting after another session. Brother. Ha! The guy lowered his head, shifting his gaze to the girl whose fingers had drawn patterns on his chest known only to her. What are we going to do? Mom was already eating to hold on. What do you mean? The scarlet-haired man spoke in a serious voice. What's what? But when it comes to his family, he doesn't tolerate jokes. Today I found her playing with herself. Vegetable. Of course, I talked to her about it, and said that we wouldn't mind about her new relationship, but you know, she'll probably do it. And I just don't want to see her suffer, and knowing you hurt you even more. Aki. What do you suggest? I know you won't ask such a question until you have at least one answer to it. Me. I want her to join our incest. This is... No, I've told you more than once that even the Uzumaki, the incest clan, did not tolerate the relationship between parents and their children. I understand all this. But I can't watch her suffer. From the moment her father died, she devoted all her time only to us, completely forgetting about herself, about her life. Let's talk about this again, but now let's go to bed. Mero. POV Naruto. I woke up as usual at 6 in the morning. And he crawled out from under his sister, who used me as a pillow. Damn, what a cutie she is when she sleeps. So that's not the thought. We carefully take her in our arms and carry her to our room, Akimi's room. After all, we don't want my mother to find out about incest yet. So we return to our room and, having got dressed, go to the morning training. After an hour and a half, having finished with her, we return home, and see two girls fluttering in the kitchen. I'll never understand how they do it. Although maybe it's in their blood? Who knows? Say, "Good morning, everyone, what's for breakfast today?" And I sit down at the table in my place. "Oh, brother, you have already returned." "And?" "Omelette with bacon, tomatoes and herbs." Did I think I heard Sasuke's voice in the distance when she said about tomatoes? It seemed probable. And after another 3 minutes, I did not notice how there was a portion of food in the front room, and Akimi, who was to my right, and my mother, who was sitting opposite her, were already eating their cooking to the fullest. After the attack, the girls ran away, and I was left alone at home. At least I have time to think carefully about Akimi's proposal. I don't know how to react to this, although she is right in something. Mom would rather ask for help with this Aunt Mikoto than stop her too frequent visits. I didn't make it a big deal before, but after what my sister told me. And how long ago did she decide to do it? Deuce. You are stronger than the Kage, but you cannot help your own mother. Hua calmly. And now her suggestion of another incest doesn't seem so bad. But if you think about it, then it turns out that all normal men of her age have been married for a long time, and those who are not are still bastards. But I can't get it out of my head that even for the Uzumaki this is not acceptable, although it happened, but in all this time, this happened only 4 times, and that was when the clan was just beginning to emerge. Black small square, and you, Ku, what do you think about this? I know you read my mind. Black small square. TZ, I caught it after all. What do I think? You will most likely come to terms with this and take it for granted, otherwise another year or 2 and she will want it. That even if she is taken care by a 3-year-old boy, she will shine everything into him. I was able to understand this by the meager amount of chakra that was left in it. Therefore, you need to act as soon as possible, while she has her own self. Black small square. I see. But I'm confused by something. I have never heard of this happening to a woman that I have not dealt with it for a long time. Black small square. Here, say thank you to your clan. Have you ever wondered why your sister wants you so often? And I did, and after searching her genetics, I found one feature of Uzumaki blood. Black small square. Don't worry, you know what I can do when it comes to them. Black small square. In general, there is a special gene hidden in the blood of the Uzumaki girls, which is activated only with a small number of clan members. What is he responsible for? Black small square. Yes, black small square. Now imagine if he's forcing a half-blood like Akimi to want intimacy at least 3 to 5 times a week, then what will he do to a pure blood? Black small square. I have nothing to say. Black small square. Therefore, I repeat that it is desirable to act now while she has her own mind and personality. NPOV Naruto. PS Kurama blocks their conversation from Akimi. Brother, I'm home. The blonde said and went to the hall, where he usually sat when he rested. Brother? What happened? Why are you so gloomy and worried? she said, seeing his mood. Kurama, please tell her about this feature of blood, but only more gently. A few seconds later. SK Kami, Mom, B brother, I don't want to. I don't want this to happen to her. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her voice trembled. Shouting the last words, she rushed to hug her brother, looking for support in him. Hush, hush, don't cry. We will think of something, and if there are no new ideas during this week, then we will do what you suggested. Why are you sure? I know how you feel about the traditions of the clan, she said, looking into her brother's eyes. Yes, but you two are dearer to me than life, and if I want to break the foundations of the clan, then so be it, Naruto said, wiping away her tears with his thumbs, and then kissed her. A week later. Kushina woke up at 7 o'clock and, to her surprise, found her daughter in the kitchen, who usually sleeps at this time. What is going to happen today that you got up so early? Huh? Nothing like that. Asterisk except for such a thing that you finally get satisfied today. Asterisk you don't need anywhere today, do you? The blondie said, handing her mother tea. No, well, if you just check the refrigerator and buy the missing products. You don't have to worry about it, I'll do everything. You don't look like yourself. Come on, quickly tell me what happened. Nothing, I just wanted to help you. So they talked for a few more minutes, when suddenly. Oh. Something doesn't feel good to me. Honey, give me some water. Of course, now. Before Akemi even had time to pour water, the red-haired woman passed out. I'm sorry, Mother, but it's for your own good. Not a certain time later. Kushina woke up in her room, but she was completely naked, and her hands were tied in this way. They were folded in a cross so that the wrists looked up, in other words, pressed to the shoulder blades, pulling the hands to the neck and tied with a rope so that the elbows were in close contact with each other. Because of this, any movement of the hands was accompanied by sharp pain. Have you come to your senses? Only now did the woman notice her son, who was sitting on the opposite side of her bed. And Naruto, what's going on? And why am I naked and tied? Don't look and untie me. While Kushina was saying this, she adjusted her legs to herself, trying to cover herself at least a little. Before we begin, I have something to tell you, please just listen, it's all for your own good. This was followed by a story about the peculiarities of blood. How is this possible, Dante Bane? That is, all this time. I was tormented because my blood required the restoration of the clan? No, I don't believe it. How do you know that this is reliable information? Then the door opens and Akemi enters the room. Mom, please calm down and accept this. Brother. Tell? Okay, today is the day of truth, but you're telling me. I'll get out for now. I need to prepare. Morally. Good. The guy went out, and only the girls remained in the room. Before you start scolding us, I ask you to listen again. This is truthful information. I felt the same as you did from the age of 14, although in much smaller volumes, but now it no longer bothers me. Who? The red-haired woman spoke in a grave voice, and goosebumps ran down the blonde's spine. Brother. Yes, we had incest and continue to this day, by mutual consent, of course. And I say right away that the initiator of our relationship with him was me, not him. Naruto, on the contrary, denied it for a very long time, although he himself wanted to, but restrained himself. So, that's why I can say with confidence that it helps. And I also proposed this idea, so as soon as it is all over, you can do whatever you want with me, I will accept any punishment. Now just have fun. This time the girl went out, and the guy returned to the room. Only this time he was with only one towel on his belt. And I am your mother. Even for the Uzumaki, this is too much. Please, enough is enough, we will find another way. Do you think I didn't try? Do you think that I would have so easily gone to the wear and tear of my mother? Me, 5, and Orochimaru stayed up for a week trying to find another way out of the situation, but nothing. And even when you find yourself in such a situation, you are all wet. We can't delay any longer. So just lie down and have fun. Otherwise, I'm going to be rude. After his words, he threw off his towel, exposing his wand. And he began to approach the bed. Kushina watched this with horror and tears. She cried that she was about to be taken care of by her own son, from the fact that the words of her children turned out to be true, because as soon as she saw this giant, she was on the verge before attacking him herself. And Naru, sniff mine pleasuring. And not and nad do. He had a stony face only on the outside, and in his heart he was screaming in pain. He spread his mother's legs and sat between them, and his wand was lying on her completely soaked button. Well, it's time for me to go back. Sorry, Mom, HYA. Before she could finish, he abruptly and easily entered his full length, resting on the uterus. The girl under him did not stop coming, either from pain, or from such a sweet feeling of fulfillment. Every part of her body was jubilant, and at the same time wanting more. Want the uncensored 18+ part? $4 per month on Patreon, 380+ hot episodes. After. A wild pounding followed. The uterus was open after 5 thrusts, and the girl herself moaned, screamed, begged either to continue, or to at least slow down. And now, after almost 20 minutes of pounding, he finished inside, completely filling her uterus. She, rolling her eyes, shook from the most powerful and most violent and pleasant orgasm in her life. A few seconds later, the guy got out of it, leaving the river with a mixture of their love juices. Naru. Huh! Don't say anything, just call Akemi here and use the clones to us in all holes. Black small square, Ku? Black small square, he's already running. As the fox said, half a minute later, a blonde, wet and naked blonde, runs into the room. What's wrong? Why do they need me here? While she was saying this, the guy created a shadow clone. Lie down in front of your mother's head. It's not fair to leave the one who came up with all this unpunished. Imino now? Is something wrong? In 10 minutes the girls will come for me. We agreed with them about a walk. Why don't I know about it? Why don't I know about it? Oh no, dear you. A what? The red-haired woman did not have time to finish, as she was abruptly turned around and the wand was pushed into her mouth. Mom, I'll figure it out, and you're so. Mom, it's useless. If he got into your mouth, then until he will not get out. I know for myself. HAA great. Who's coming? Sakura, Ino, Tenten, and Hinata, that is, the entire women's issue. I see, Mom, I'm very picky in this matter, so hurry up. Slapping on the ass? As for you, sister, just create a clone with its chakra and that's it. But, either you do what I said yourself, thereby helping my mother with her problem, or I tie you up, take care of you, and after that 2 weeks without intimacy and self-pleasure. At such moments, you don't look like yourself. Okay. Ku! Take it already. A second later, an exact copy of her appeared next to the blonde, which then left the room. And the original, meanwhile, climbed onto the bed, and spreading her legs, Habanero joined her lips to her flower, from which love juices were still flowing, starting to lick and suck it. Kushina is still lying on her back. She was just turned 180, you never know who didn't understand. Seeing this, the clone approached the blonde. I'm already all wet, but I wanted to leave. Just act already, and Mom, you're very tasty. After her words, she came with renewed vigor beyond the gap from which she had once crawled out. For which she received moans from her mother, which in turn also gave pleasure to her son. I am Fies. The blonde wanted to say that the clone would start not with the back, but with the flower, but she did not have time because it had already entered. And the mother's legs did not allow her to resist this, which pressed her back. And now, after 7 minutes of moaning girls, the guy cummed in the red-haired woman's mouth. Oh, great! Created 2 more clones! You're in Akimi's ass now, lie on your back and continue your business. You, take care of her mouth. You lie on your back. Mom, sit on the one that is free and pay off your debt to your daughter in the same way. Shut up, because you wanted to leave, your flower won't get a wand, only your tongue and maybe your fingers. Ha Naru, and why you where you go yourself? Mom, did you develop your back? What? Why yes. And no sto. Mimic. The blonde repaid in kind, pressing her mother's head to her button with her legs, breaking it off on the floor with a word, although now it was a little uncomfortable to sit on a moving wand without support. Well, I'm entering. CMMA. Kushina tried to say something, but she only hummed, giving Akimi great pleasure along the way. In an instant, Habanero's wand is half in his back hole, causing both kunoichi to come. Red-haired from the divine filling of her back, as she thought, and blonde from a sweet scream, pouring into her mother's mouth and forcing her to swallow everything. Kami. It's divine. Minato I'm starting to hate you more. After all, you did not agree to back or even oral intimacy. It's so beautiful. I'm melting asterisk. After another 5 hours of a threesome. Now all 3 were lying on the bed. Akimi was already asleep, and Naruto and Kushina, breathing heavily, were lying next to her. Apparently you girls are complete opposites. One does not like back and oral, but at the same time enjoys vaginal and chest, and the second, on the contrary, only back, and wants to work with her tongue. In principle, I am the same as you, Mom. Apparently you. As well as for the hair, Let's go to their parents. You're and me, And Akimi and Minato. He, no matter how ironic it may sound, refused and back until his death. How did you manage to find compromise? Very easy. I put me in front of the fact that then there would be no more intimacy. Because then only she would get the main pleasure. And then I had to tie Akimi hand and leg to enter her mouth and back for the first time. And most likely, if you fully join our incest, then she will shift almost all this work to you. And how did I not think of it? About this for me. I need to think about it. But one thing I can say for sure, every week I will sleep with you at least once. Until you either find another way out, or hit another man instead of your father. Although I am unlikely to be appeased by anyone except your baby. Well, I'm sorry how I gave birth. Or should I go back? I'd be glad, but I am tired. I haven't had this for a long time. Shall I tell me the exact date? If you want to get 40 blows with a frying pan, then yes. Want the uncensored 18+ part? $4 per month on Patreon, 380+ hot episodes.